in Europe based here. We also have a big scandal at the moment going on because of the filtering of huge profits, and our government now is about to take a case to Europe against the decision, which me as a taxpayer, I'm going to pay for. I object to that, but however, I don't have any voice in that, I don't have any say in it. But would you say that with regard to Shannon, is it possible that that's one of the prices we paid for it? I mean, we did have George Bishop here for 5 years. Perhaps, I don't know, of a senator can lend it to another country for that amount of time. Maybe that's the price we paid. And we don't know anything about it. It's like you say, years later this stuff comes out.
Well, you might be onto something. It is interesting that nobody in the North has put this firm on. Whilst I regularly speak in Belfast and Derry, but not a single place in the North has put this film on, including places that you would have, or that I would have ordinarily expected to be snapping at my heels to put it on. That might be a coincidence, or it might not be. I suspect it isn't a coincidence. It's because of the political reason to which you allude, the reason of the peace process and Blair's role in it, and Sinn Féin's relationship with Blair in that period. I'm very sorry to say that as someone who has always supported Sinn Féin, but that's what I suspect is the reason why the movie hasn't played in the North. And it's true that the United States and Britain both invested a lot of time in trying to bring that peace process about. You might well say 800 years too late, but they did. And undoubtedly, one of the reasons might be that they regard Ireland as a trustworthy and reliable ally in the imperialist project, and in that they're probably right. One last point now. I once had this conversation with your Prime Minister, Bertie Ahern, and I gave him 5 minutes full blast on Shannon, and he agreed with me in every particular. He nodded throughout everything I said and said, "You're absolutely right," at the end of it. And later I found out from other Irish people that he would have said that, whatever I'd said. But that's what happened.
We're going to come to an end, and there's two more questions. But I just want to make a point on multinational investment and Shannon. During the period of the last 15 years, it didn't stop Dell leaving Limerick, which is just right beside Shannon. This idea that multinational investment and supporting mass murder is not, in fact, the case. But even if it was the case, it would be wrong.
So basically, I just want to know, or just asking you, is there any room on the South Island of New Zealand with yourself and John Consider? Because I'd like to join you if Trump gets elected.
How very kind. This is a reference to my Friday night show on Talk Radio, which is called the mother of all talk shows. 7 o'clock on Friday nights. You can get it on Talk Radio, you can get it here, digital radio. I've agreed with this former American congressman that if Donald Trump wins, that we're going to move to the tip of the South Island of New Zealand, that being the only safe place on the earth if Trump is the president. Having said which, it's not going to be very safe if Hillary Clinton is the president either. So it's a pretty bleak prospect. Yes, sir?
That was something to do with my question. Given that there was a whole rose gallery at the time, like Jack Straw, Rumsfeld, Cheney, Condoleezza Rice, and that they could pollute or contaminate a relatively decent man like Colin Powell at the United Nations, take it up and lie. Have you any preference for who would be the next US president? And that is the system just weighted against righteousness and rightness?
Well, I'm supporting Dr. Jill Stein, who is the Green Party candidate for president. I know her well. and she's head and shoulders above the others, and I reject the politics of lesser evilism. Because if you say I'm voting for B rather than A, because B is slightly less evil than A, you are actually inviting B to get more and more evil, because they know that they can count on your support almost no matter how evil they are, as long as they're marginally less evil than A. And you don't have to be Einstein to work out where that leads and where it has led. It has led to one monster fighting another monster for the President of the United States. It's Godzilla 1 versus Godzilla 2. And I could not, in all conscience, ask or encourage anyone to vote for either of them. We have to break from this. Or if I take it, let me take it local. If ever there could be two cheeks of the same arse, it must be Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. Sure, it simply must be. And yet, Fine Gael will be out soon, and Fianna Fáil will probably be back.
No way.
What kind of reasoning is that? To swap the left cheek of the arse for the right cheek. And that's on a much lesser scale what we have in the United States, where it's much more deadly and much more dangerous.
Hi, I just had a question about the documentary itself.
Yeah.
Did you have any trouble obtaining rights to the footage, and did you have any threats? Like, did anyone try and stop you from making the documentary? I know that you're trying to make